Once upon a time, there were two families who had been close friends for many years. They had shared countless memories, celebrated festivals together, and supported each other through thick and thin. Over time, the families had grown even closer, and they made a decision that would change the lives of their children forever. They would arrange a marriage between their son and daughter, believing that their union would strengthen the bond between the two families. The son, Ahmed, had always been respectful towards the daughter, Maryam, but they hardly knew each other beyond their family's occasional gatherings. Maryam, who had just returned from the UK after completing her studies, wasn't excited about the idea of marrying someone she didn't know well. Ahmed, on the other hand, was indifferent and had his own reservations about the arrangement. The families, unaware of the discontentment brewing between the two, came up with a clever plan. They told Maryam to wait at a certain house when she returned, claiming it would be a temporary resting spot for her. Meanwhile, Ahmed was informed that the same house was where he would stay once he returned from Abuja. Little did they know, both of them would end up in the same place. The moment they saw each other at the house, their discomfort was palpable. Neither was happy to see the other, and it didn't take long for insults to fly. Maryam immediately called her parents to complain, and they, knowing the tension between the two, lied and told her they had traveled and that she would have to stay at the house for a month. Frustrated and angry, Maryam grudgingly agreed to stay, but Ahmed was just as unhappy. He called his own parents with the same story, and they too confirmed that he would have to stay there for the entire month. The two now found themselves stuck in a house they didn't want to be in, with each other. As the days passed, their constant bickering filled the house. Every time they tried to avoid each
other, they would end up in the same room. One day, when Ahmed entered a room to get some peace, Maryam dragged him out, demanding he leave. The argument continued as they both vented their frustrations, unwilling to compromise. But, over time, things began to shift. They learned more about each other, about their hopes, dreams, and the struggles they faced. Slowly, the bickering turned into laughter, and the once icy atmosphere started to warm. They discovered common ground, and in the midst of their quarrels, sparks of affection began to flicker. By the end of the month, when it was time to part ways, the two had fallen in love. The initial resistance they felt towards one another had melted away, replaced with a deeper understanding and connection. Their parents, watching from the sidelines, were surprised to see their plan succeed in the most unexpected way. As the weeks passed after their month together, Maryam and Ahmed continued to talk and get to know each other better. The bond that had initially been born from forced proximity had now transformed into something deeper. They found themselves spending more time together, even outside the confines of the house. Their conversations, once filled with bickering, became opportunities to share their dreams and frustrations, to laugh at their quirks, and to learn about each other's past. Eventually, the time came for them to meet again with their families. Their parents were thrilled to see the change in their relationship, although they had no idea just how deep it had gone. One evening, as the families gathered for a dinner, Ahmed looked at Maryam with a quiet smile, his heart swelling with emotions he hadn't expected to feel. He turned to his parents and then to Maryam's, clearing his throat. "I know this wasn't what any of us expected," he began, his voice filled with sincerity, "but I want to say thank you for giving us the space to understand each other. Maryam, I care about you. I think I'm ready to take the next step." Maryam, her cheeks flushing with surprise, met his gaze. She had never imagined she would be in this position. But looking at him now, she realized she had changed too. "I care about you, too, Ahmed," she replied, her voice steady but soft. "It's been a surprising journey, but I'm glad we went through it together." A few months later, Maryam and Ahmed stood side by side, surrounded by their family and friends, as they exchanged vows. The same families who had once orchestrated the marriage were now witnesses to the love that had grown between their children.